Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today is August 11, 2024. This is the daily read for the collective, and it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you're located. As far as the date is right, hopefully this will be helpful for you. Page of Cups energy is about the innocent feelings, emotions that we experience in our lives. Usually it is related to what we love, who we love, and there is also a sense of vulnerability about the Page of Cups. Um, when the Page of Cups energy is the energy that can improve our lives today, it is important to remember our feelings and to get in touch with our feelings. Quite often, because the way we were being brought up, we use a logical side to treat most of the problems in our lives. But today is a day to not only use the logical, but also the emotional side of our character, of our personality. If something happens and that requires us to take actions, please pay attention to your feelings and trust your gut feelings. If something is not feeling right, hopefully, it can be really not right for us. Even though you might have the tendency to opt for, the most usual way of solutions of solving a problems. But if you feel like you something is not right, trust that. Even though if you follow your feelings, you might be doing something differently from usual, it will be worth it. Because the Page of Cups energy is about trusting our feelings, and not only based on the logical side of the reality. So if you have situations where you need to take actions, but you feel like your usual approach will cause problems or will not work, try to seek for alternative methods, alternative solutions that fits your gut feeling. Page of Cups energy is also reminding us to get in touch with our emotional self, and temporarily forget about the reasons and the logic we have been utilizing to live our lives, because there might be situations where we can be ignoring our feelings, which is not good. Even though we also need the reasonable and logical side of our character to succeed, we cannot simply just ignore our emotional needs, because if we continuously ignore our emotional self and emotional well-being, somehow things and events will manifest in a negative way in order to alarm us to wake up and take care of our emotional self. Our emotional self also would impact our physical health. So today is a time to try to figure out if there are any connections that you can find out between your health conditions and your emotions. Have you been feeling weak lately? Have you been feeling the sadness and disappointment lately? And first, we have to acknowledge all the negative emotions we experience, and then to deal with them, and then to digest them, deal with them, so that they're not being contained within our physical body and affect our health. But if we don't look into the emotional side of our character, we can get lost on an emotional level, and then it can create problems in our lives. So Page of Cups energy is also about someone who is kind of not really mature emotionally. That might be a person that we are dealing with. They are not very mature. They are very emotional. They are driven by their emotions in a very big time. So we have to consider our emotions at the same time and be mature emotionally to deal with these people. When you meet these people, they can come across as someone, not very mature, and they might even have emotional issues. Well, I have already met one. So the Page of Cups energy is really, really about some people having difficulties handling their emotions. If you drink, be careful. Don't overdrink, because I can understand that there are situations where you might want to drink, or you might want to do something on an excessive level to release the tensions and negative emotions. But I would suggest you to first acknowledge the problems first, before doing things that can harm your health and well-being. Moderation is required for the Page of Cups energy, because sometimes emotions can be overwhelming and too much to handle. So please be aware of that, and put a limit on your thinking and your emotions, acknowledging them, but then don't be overwhelmed by these emotions. Anyway, this is the read I have for you, and I hope you enjoy this read, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.